When Pokemon Base Set rolled around, it came with 4 theme decks that were introductories to the game. I remember many of us bought those when we were kids, but I don't recall anyone really playing them. I know for a fact most of us took the cards out of them and used them to make our own decks or to write them off our checklist of what we were missing. I've always been curious on what the potential of these decks were, if any. Were they just theme decks made for some simple gameplay, or was there something amazing to them that went unnoticed? The first theme deck listed in Base Set was ZAP. And it says here, knock your opponent's Pokemon out of the fight with the Psychic and Lightning Pokemon and ZAP deck. Pretty straightforward, I guess. A nice little list of what's included. The goal of ZAP is to paralyze, confuse, put to sleep, or otherwise disable your opponent's Pokemon, preventing them from hurting you. This version of the deck adds another Ghastly, oh it's already talking about what to add here, adds another Ghastly, another Jinx, and it also adds a Raichu and 2 Electro Buzzes. Since these Pokemon fit in the theme well, because the Pokemon have gotten bigger, the deck swaps out a potion for a Super Potion. The deck uses a little less energy than before, but it has an energy retrieval to make up for it. Starting with the energies, you are given 16 Psychic Energy cards, and 12 Lightning Energy cards, or Electric Energy cards I should say. This deck was more focused on Psychic over Electric Pokemon. Starting with Electric Pokemon, you got 4 Pikachus, 3 Magnemites. Of course there's a 4th Magnemite because 3 Magnemites. Lacking a lot in the Electric side. As for Psychic Pokemon, we got 2 Drowsies, 3 Gastlys, 2 Haunters, 3 Abras, a Kadabra, 2 Jinx, and the hollow of the deck was a Mewtwo. Usually they do a kind of healthy mix of half and half, but this one really does focus more on the Psychic over the Electric Pokemon. Trainer-wise, we got Potion, 2 Bills, Super Potion, 2 Switch, 2 Gust of Wind, Computer Search very useful, Professor Oak very useful, and Defender. I want to circle back to Defender because there's a big thing about Defender when it comes to Magnemite. Looking at the Electric Pokemon first, Pikachu, 40 HP, 1 energy card, colorless, gnaw, 10 damage, 2 energy cards, 1 colorless, 1 electric, Thunder Jolt, flip a coin, if tails, Pikachu has 10 damage to itself, so that's kind of painful, plus 30 damage. I don't know about that one. And Magnemite, 40 HP, 100 card, Thunder Wave, flip a coin, if heads, the defending Pokemon is now paralyzed for 10 damage, pretty straightforward. And Self-Destruct, 2 energy cards, 1 colorless, 1 electric. Self-Destruct does 10 damage to each Pokemon on each player's bench. Don't apply weakness or resistance. Magnemite does 40 damage to itself for 40 damage. So that's pretty big, but that is a huge sacrifice because Magnemite does essentially knock itself out to do that. And I'm going to circle to that now actually, mentioned by Defender. So there's an interesting combo that works with Magnemite and Defender that I'm surprised this deck has, and I know it went over everyone's head. Defender reads, attach Defender to one of your Pokemon. At the end of your opponent's next turn, discard Defender. Damage done to that Pokemon by attacks is reduced by 20 after applying weakness and resistance. So there is a fundamental thing with that way that's worded. If you have Magnemite up front and you play Defender on it, you do Self-Destruct. Does 40 damage to your opponent, 10 damage to each bench Pokemon, and Magnemite does only 20 damage to itself instead of 40. That's because Defender is protecting it, because it doesn't specify what attack or who's attacking, it just says from attacks. So that was a way you can cheese Magnemite into doing Self-Destruct twice. I don't think that's what they intended for that to do, but that's a combo, pretty nifty combo you can do with Magnemite Defender. It is worth mentioning though, it doesn't work on other cards, such as Thunder Jolt by Pikachu, because it's conditional. The damage done to itself is conditional. This damage done by Magneton is just part of the attack. I'm not exactly sure where in the rulebook it would ever detail that, but I remember seeing that and I looked it up online on a webpage that had a whole entire FAQ of all erratas from base set, and it does say the Defender does work on this because it's pretty attack, but not on any kind of flip because that's conditional. Now to take a look at all the Psychic Pokemon, you have Drowsy, 50 HP, 1 colorless, Energy, Pound, 10 damage, 2 Psychic Energies, Confuse Ray, flip a coin, if heads, if any Pokemon is now confused, for 10 damage. Ghastly, 30 HP, 1 Psychic Energy card, Sleeping Gas, flip a coin, if any Pokemon is now asleep. Ooh. 2 energy cards, 1 colorless from Psychic, Destiny Bond. Discard a Psychic Energy card attached to Ghastly in order to use his attack. If a Pokemon knocks out Ghastly during your opponent's next turn, knock out that Pokemon. Wow, that's pretty irritating. Hunter, 60 HP, 1 Psychic Energy card, Hypnosis if any Pokemon is now asleep, 2 Psychic Energy cards, Dream Eater. You can't use this attack unless your defending Pokemon is asleep, 50 damage. So that's a lot of damage for 50 HP. You have Abra, 30 HP, 1 Psychic Energy card, Psylocke, Psylocke. Flip a coin, if heads, if any Pokemon is now paralyzed, 10 damage, very straightforward. Kadabra, 60 HP, 2 Psychic Energy cards. Discard 1 Psychic Energy card attached to Kadabra in order to use this attack. Remove all damage counters. Oh, all damage counters, so that's a heal it has. And then, next attack, 3 energy cards, 1 colorless, 2 Psychic, Super Psy, 50 damage, so that's pretty big. Jinx, 7 HP, that's fairly big. 1 Psychic Energy card, Double Slap, flip 2 coins. This attack does 10 damage times the number of heads, so 10 up to 20 damage. Second attack, Meditate. 2 Psychic Energy cards, 1 colorless energy card. Does 20 damage, plus 10 more damage for each damage counter on your opponent's undefending Pokemon. So 20 plus as many as they have, that's pretty big, actually. And for the Holo deck, Mewtwo, sitting at 60 HP, 2 energy cards, 1 colorless, 1 Psychic. Psychic is the attack. Does 10 damage plus 10 more damage for each energy card attached to the defending Pokemon. So you're looking up to a potential 4, so you're looking at 50 damage from that attack, which is pretty big. Second attack, Barrier, 2 Psychic Energy cards. Discard 1 Psychic Energy card attached to Mewtwo in order to use this attack during your opponent's next turn. Prevent all effects of attacks, including damage done to Mewtwo. So that's a pretty big stall, because that includes status effects like poison and sleep and stuff like that. Let's see, it says the goal is to paralyze, confuse, put to sleep, or otherwise disable your opponent's Pokemon. So it's 9 of the 5 Pokemon here that does cause some kind of status ailment. Paralyze, confuse, put to sleep. Well, they got that right so far. In that case, what this deck really is a giant stall. So you would end up having Ghastly, Hunter, Abra, Magnemite, and Drowsy up front, causing confusion, sleep, or paralyzation, making your opponent not be able to attack. While you would have a Kadabra, Jinx, Mewtwo, and I guess Pikachu if you want, because it's the only electric attack there is, you would have them rather powering up and getting ready to attack your opponent. Interesting that this is just a big stall, really. It looks like that's the main goal of the deck, because all those status elements cause a stall. Sleep is they have to flip a coin to wake their Pokemon up. Confusion is they have to flip a coin if they get a Tails on attack and they do 20 damage themselves. And they also can't retreat unless they flip the coin and get that heads as well. Paralyzed is annoying because when your Pokemon is paralyzed, it can't attack and it can't retreat, but the paralyzation goes away at the end of your turn. So if you get paralyzed again, it's just stuck there unless you can use Switch, or it gets knocked out. Now the bottom does include a remove and add to change the deck up some. It says to remove 1 electric energy card, 1 psychic energy card, 2 Drowsies, a Mewtwo, ouch, you're getting rid of Mewtwo? Okay. A Switch and a Potion. But you're adding a Ghastly, a Jinx, a Raichu, 2 Electro Buzzes, a Super Potion, and Energy Retrieval. Well, that does kind of change the dynamic slightly. Raichu here, 80 HP, so pretty big. 2 abilities. First ability is called Agility. 3 energy cards, 2 colorless, 1 electric. Flip a coin if heads. During your opponent's next turn, prevent all effects, all attacks, including damage done to Raichu, for 20 damage. And then you have Thunder, 4 energy cards, 3 electric, 1 colorless. Flip a coin if tails. Raichu does 30 damage to itself for 60 damage. So I don't know about that. That's a real high cost for 60 damage and for 30 to be done to yourself if you flip the tails on a coin. The interesting addition though is the Electro Buzzes. Electro Buzz is known as one of the best Pokemon in base set 1. 70 HP, first attack, Thunder Shock, 1 electric energy card, flip a coin. If heads, the defending Pokemon is now paralyzed for 10 damage. So that's another stall out right there, another status element. And then Thunder Punch, 2 energy cards, 1 colorless, 1 electric. Flip a coin, if heads attacks 30 damage plus 10 more damage. If tails attack does 30 damage and Electro Buzz damage to itself. So it's 30 up to 40 damage total if you can do with that attack. It doesn't really change the dynamic too much, we're just focusing on Raichu now, powering that up. I think Jinx is still going to be the main focus because of Jinx's Meditate ability of adding damage for every damage counter your opponent has. It seems like the more beat up you get your opponent from stalling attacks, such as Thunder Shock, Agility, or even Magnemite's Thunder Wave attack, adds up, and you can end up having Jinx go in and finish them off with that 20 plus whatever damage they have on them. They probably realized that because you're going to be kind of short on electric energy over psychic energy card, it's probably better to have more an energy retrieval. They really should have done maybe 1 more of these, to be honest, instead of just 1 alone. The only other trainer card they added was Super Potion, because you have 80 HP, 70 HP, 70 HP, 2 Jinx, and now a 3rd Jinx that all have 70 HP, so you have more tanky Pokemon out. The goal of ZAP is to paralyze, confuse, put to sleep, or otherwise disable your opponent's Pokemon, preventing them from hurting you. Well, a lot of them do that. And with the changes, it does go from taking your Pokemon, stalling out, while doing small increments of damage, for your other Pokemon, like Jinx, to come in and do a finishing attack.